Okay, now we're into our next lesson, which is a bit of a continuation. Tomorrow we're going to be doing something new. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, okay, first of all, based upon the data that you have collected. So the first thing I'd like you to do is go into your SurveyMonkey or see the data points that you have collected, okay? And then I want you to, well, ideally, I'd like you to make a graph of your data. So what would be the best choice of graph to do? And then why? Why do you think that that is the right type of graph for you to do? So what I suggest that you do is, just like go into your SurveyMonkey and then collect the data, see if it's kind of what you thought, and then, you could make a graph around it or involving it. Okay, so that's, I'm not going to ask you to hand that in, but that would just be kind of like a fun thing to do. If we were in class, we would be doing that, but e-learning, we have a little bit like shortened time, so I'm not going to ask you to do that if you don't want to, but it'd be kind of cool anyway. Okay, so today's lesson is a bit of a continuation from the other day, and I'll explain it kind of a little bit more as we get along. So we do have to write down a couple of notes related to methods of collecting data, okay? So we talked about the 4 different styles of collection, like you could use a questionnaire, you could use a database, you could use electronic media, or you could use a questionnaire. So of those, there is 2 different types or 2 different methods to collect data. So the first type is called first-hand data. And first-hand data, basically it means that you have the first hand in collection of that data. So what you guys have just done, the surveys that you have just made, those are examples of first-hand data because you were the surveyor and you're doing the results really directly first-hand live. You don't need somebody else or another source to help you out. So this basically means it's data that you, as a grade 6 student, could collect yourself. Okay? In this case, you have collected it yourself, but it also could be the element of could easily collect it. Okay? So here are some examples. Favorite sport of your classmates, best type of crayon, your height growth over 3 months, right? You would be able to do that. You'd be able to do all of those things. Okay, the second type of data method to collect data is called second-hand data. And basically, this means that you need a second hand to help you out with the data collection. So basically, it's data that is not possible for you as a grade 6 student to collect easily. And again, don't think of the crazy well, what if this, what if that? Okay, think of it most logically. So here are some examples of what would be good evidence of secondhand data or good examples. Weather patterns in Thailand. Okay. You would need to rely upon an external source, such as a database or an electronic media source or the internet, in order to collect that data. You would not be able to do it independently yourself. If it was the temperature over the span of the month of June in Abu Dhabi, you could collect that yourself. So that would be first-hand data. But if it's something that's not as near to you, then it would you'd need the assistance of something else. Or this one, types of fish in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, there's no way to be able to collect that data yourself. Okay, so the homework, now this is kind of there's kind of 2 things for the homework today. And I'm going to make this easy for you, and it's all going to be on Edmodo. And I'm going to make a quiz, which you're going to see posted just after you finish watching this video. And part of it, so part of your homework is I'm going to give you, because this is one, so the textbook doesn't have everything in it that you need to know. So sometimes I give you different stuff. So what I'm going to do today is you're going to see on Edmodo, there's going to be different questions. Is this first-hand data? Is this second-hand data? So you're just going to have to answer that on Edmodo. And then the second part of the homework is involving your textbook, okay? It's page 269 to 70. So I suggest that you bring that out, but I'm not going to actually ask you to write down anything today. You're just going to have to fill this out on the Edmodo thing. So you're doing all questions 1 to 6, which is this, okay? page 200, yeah, 269, 270. Okay. So you have to read these situations, okay? And if we were in class, I would have you actually do this, but that is going to be quite time consuming. So I don't necessarily need you to do that, okay? So, because we've already done this a little bit earlier with like our grade 5 review. So John surveyed grade 6 students in his school to answer this question, just like you guys just did. And then it says draw a graph to display this data. So this is where I'm suggesting that you draw your own graph of your own data, which would kind of be the coolest. But then what I'd like you to do, and you're going to see in like this little like assignment that I'm making up, is you just have to say what type of graph would be the best to use. Okay. So what type of, explain your choice. So what type of choice of graph would you use for this? And then for each of them, what type of graph would you use for each of them? Depending upon the specific data that's given, because there are, and that's like one of the main outcomes, is to be able to determine the correct graph to use, because some will be more appropriate to use in certain situations than others. Okay, so that is it. That's all that you need to do today, which hopefully should be pretty easy for you. Okay, good job, and yeah, have fun. Make sure that you also do everyone's surveys, because the better it is for people to have their own surveys done, or like their data collected, then it's going to be better for them to actually like graph their data. Okay. If you want to show me your graphs, actually it could be kind of cool for us to see each other's graphs. You know what? I'll make a thing on Seesaw for you to do for showing your own data. Okay. It's not going to be for homework. Okay. I'm not going to say you have to do it, but it's going to be like optional. And this is the type of thing that if you do these optional things, then it comes to like, the marks, and you're like, oh, super close on the cusp of like RA versus CA or CA versus E, then like this is the type of thing that will like boost you up a little bit. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, and see you soon.